All right, guys. So let's talk about the optimization phase for the first round of rapid fire testing. So you'll see here, I'm in the client account right now. I've got my top of funnel stage one testing out personas. It's spent a total of $67 here. So we still have about a day and a half of this rapid fire round because we've got about a $200 budget allocated to this. But you can see we've already started to generate some messages. Now this is positive. um, Bear in mind, you may not always get message responses, okay? And that's okay. That's okay, especially if you're working with super dry industry like insurance or mortgage brokers. This is a hair salon, so it's targeting, females. It's slightly more high affinity than something that's a little bit drier like investments, for example. So by here, this is really promising because we've gotten five and it's kind of coming in for a rapid fire test right within, because bear in mind, none of this is optimized, right? This is just a test. We haven't optimized the creative. We haven't optimized the audiences, none of that. So for them, for messages to come in at 13 bucks a pop is at the campaign level is really good. But what we want to do, the first thing is we actually want to look at our ad set stats, right? Because looking at the campaign level can be quite deceiving. So when we click on our ad set, what you'll see here is you'll actually start to notice, oh, well, actually, we've got some ad sets that are coming in a lot cheaper than the $13 mark. So we've got two here. We've got one that has generated three messages, and they're coming in at around $6 a pop. And then we've got a second ad set that's done one at $9, and then we've got one at 17. So this one's a little bit more expensive. So really, it's our brides that are responding, and then our general audience as well here. Interestingly enough, the blanket bridal one is getting slightly cheaper cost per message, but it's only one message here. So this is not a valid data point, okay? Whereas this one is slightly more promising because it's three data points, so it's a little bit more consistent and reliable. So the first thing we want to look at is we're going to go in our reporting column and click on performance and clicks. Now you should have saved this as part of your reporting column as well. Now there's two columns that you're going to see here. You'll see new message conversations, which is going to probably be a slightly lower number than what you are seeing here. And the reason for this is this figure here that you're seeing is actually total messages. And then this one is people that have never messaged the page before. So it's kind of like unique new leads, for example. But we can say we've had five in total, right? So what we're looking at here is our click-through rate. So we want to look at this figure here, link click click-through rate. This is the important one. And what we're looking for is strong figures. So anything around that sort of 1% click-through rate. And also we want to look at our cost per click. So we want to make sure that we're looking at our cost per click here and seeing which one of these is going to be a bit more sustainable. So you can see here, for example, the brides, when the audience, we had brides and we were using, women that were just recently married. We're getting an $8 cost per click and a really low click-through rate, which means, we've spent quite a bit of money, but we've only got 2 clicks on this. So it has generated a lead. The conversion rate is quite high, but this indicates that, if we're going to run with this audience, we're going to have to split test this targeting a lot better because or roll out different ads because this one is just really not getting the traction we want. Now, this can be deceiving to look at it like this, right? Because you're going, okay, this is not working. However, what you need to now do is, and you need to do this with every single ad set, is you go into the ad level and you repeat the process in here to see, is it actually just an ad that's dropping the ball or is it across the board? So you'll see here, Facebook has spent $8 on this ad and it's generated one message. Now this is pretty good cost per message here. And then it's only spent, $2 here and $6 here. So these ads probably haven't had enough budget. Cumulatively, we've spent $17 and only had one message, which makes it expensive. However, at the ad level, we actually have an ad that's doing pretty well. So let's go and check out our soft stats and see if that's still the case. So you can see here, we're getting cost per clicks at $4. and a pretty low click-through rate though. So this is pretty abysmal. Now my options here is either I pause this ad here and I allow, so if we're looking at this one here, so this one hasn't had any clicks and it's spent $6, so I can pause this one here and allow the budget to feed into this ad, which has only spent $2. And the goal here is to see, well, can this ad get me cheaper cost per click and ultimately a cheaper cost per message? So I'll actually keep this ad set running for now and try to see if I can get a cheaper cost per message. Now I go into a different ad set, for example. Here we've got, $6 messages. The stats on this one look phenomenal. We're getting really cheap cost per click, really phenomenal click-through rate. Let's go and check out the ads to see what's happening there. So we've only got one ad in this one, so that's naughty. There should have been two other ads in here, but luckily this ad is working really, really well. So we'll keep this one going. We have about 700 impressions here, so I'll keep this one going until about 1,000, 1,500 impressions, and then I'll have, a much more stable data set. So within the next day and a half, I'll have the data that I need from this ad set. Now, if I look at this one, prom, so we've spent $9 on this one. This one's a small audience, I remember that. We've spent $9 on this one, and if we look at our soft stats, we've had 8 clicks and none of them have converted. But our soft stats are not that great either. So the cost per click is fine. Click-through rate isn't that flash. And if I look at the ad level, then I can go, well, is it an issue with the ad creative? What's going on? So I click on here and I see, okay, it's actually spent the budget pretty evenly between all three. And to be fair, there's not a single ad set or ad in this campaign that is generating messages for under $5 to $6. So to be fair, they haven't had much budget. Let's have a look at our soft stats here. Okay, so they've each generated about 2 to 3 clicks, and one of them has a slightly more powerful click-through rate, so it's resonating a little bit better with our audience. But we haven't even had enough of a reach here to get a relevant score. So I'm going to keep this one running as well. I'm actually going to leave it the way it is. I'm not going to turn any of the ads off right now because it's feeding pretty evenly between them. If you end up finding that Facebook has fed most of the budget to one particular ad, you may need to manually pause it to allow the other ones to get the budget that they need to make that decision. So I'm going to leave this ad set. And I basically repeat this process for every single ad set, going through right down to the ad level and forcing budgets by pausing certain things, looking at the reach, looking at the impressions, and then deciding whether or not I need to stop an ad set altogether or if I keep it going. So this is how we optimize for the first round.